Welcome. This is Barry Jones from Angelic Wisdom, and we're here for our weekly Ascension Angel Messages for November the 11th through the 17th, 2024. So, as we begin, I would like to first of all thank everyone who's returning to this weekly series and to also welcome anyone who's new to our Angelic Wisdom community. If you haven't done so already, please make sure that you are subscribed to select the all notification bell and, of course, like and leave your comments. If during the course of this video you feel called to have an angel reading with me, you can go to my current website, theangelschool.com/services, and just be aware that the readings schedule that I have there is no longer applies. So that if you'd like to get a reading with me now, would likely be possible maybe Friday evening and Saturday afternoon. I would say maybe after 12 o'clock or something like this. This past week I tried to come home early and I managed to do so a few days. So I'm hoping to be able to do that more. But I just know this first year, or at least hopefully by the, after Christmas, I would have really settled in and come to terms with the changes in my lifestyle with this new work that I'm doing with children. So, also, if you'd like to support my channel with a donation, you can choose my PayPal me link for Angelic Wisdom LLC, and those links you will find in the description area beneath this video. Also, the general monthly Ascension Angel messages have already been posted. Really check that out. I think it's a very important one, and it'll be the first link that you see in the description area beneath this video. So let's go ahead now and prepare our hearts and our minds and our bodies to be fully present with the messages from your angels. And so let's do so by taking a deep breath and releasing and relaxing your body completely and letting anything with each breath that comes up for you that might be a distraction, just let it go. And just bring your attention back to your breath. And so let's call upon the pure white Christ light to flow all around you and through you. And as you do, just really, as you breathe in, drink this deep into the cells of your body. And we call around you the guardians of light who work with you, protect you, and guide you. And together, as we tune in to the energy for this week, allow whatever impressions, whatever strikes you as the angels speak to your heart. So they're writing about, for some of you, the first thing I saw was job, and then I saw the goddess Kali. I saw her name. And so this is giving me a sense symbolically of letting go of some things in your life right now. I don't know if it's the job, and they wrote about energy, but it's the energy of some things that are going on, probably in your work life. They're writing about, you know, just pay attention this week. A lot of ego things are going to come up. Um, and also how you deal energetically with things. Notice if you're holding on to certain things that are happening, things that you really can't manage or fix. And the reason for this is that some things need to happen. And you need to understand when, whether or not, first of all, you have to understand when people are in their own classroom, right? Their classroom of spiritual lessons, to make sure that you respect that process they write. And the best thing that you can do when you see others, as in your perception, in their ego are out of balance, is to focus on raising your frequency. And that really is about being aware of what your truth is in the moment. What is your purpose? And is it really your purpose to get involved in that classroom? Are you a part of that class? Are you supposed to be in attendance to that class? Check with your angels and ask them for a sign before you act, to make sure that you're not taking on extra lessons instead of really being present with the one that's prepared for you in the moment. And being aware of your own frequency, and then really digging in and grounding to raise your frequency for yourself, does a great service for others, because as you raise your frequency, you bring in information, codes and keys, and wisdom of light from the higher realms. And this not only brings enlightenment to you, but to others. So in doing so, I'm sorry, you are raising you're enhancing the energy of their classroom lessons. You're bringing in higher wisdom for them to access because they are in the vicinity of you. So before you need to react to anything, and they just write the word transfer or transference. And so that can go kind of a couple of different ways, right? Either by not taking this time to figure out what your purpose is, and mainly to raise your frequency. Either when you raise your frequency, you transfer light. If you get involved in the ego matter, then their issues are transferred to you. And what's going to happen is a lot of projection. You're going to get caught up in a situation where the ego is going to project to you the things that are going on with them. So they just wrote, there's transference or transfiguration here. You have the opportunity to transfigure by raising your frequency, rather than to always be caught up in transference. And I think I understand this as well, even for my own self and my own situation. You are going to see a lot of things, or you always see what should be done and the way that things should be done, or the things that should not be done. But the only thing that you can really do to really be helpful to change the dynamic, because what they're asking you is to bring in new information, to bring in light, to bring in those higher light codes in order to create change. Because what's happening in ego is that nothing new comes in. And it's almost as if you have this pot on the stove of ingredient, and you poured in these ingredients and it doesn't taste the way you want it to taste. And instead of thinking of something different, you keep adding the same ingredients, hoping that if I add a little bit more of this, maybe it'll change it. It'll change it, but it's still not completely changed. It's just that the ingredients that aren't working already are just some you've only made a change by increasing one of them, but you're going to still have the same taste range. In this way, the same light range. And what is needed in your situation is a completely new branch of understanding, of enlightenment, to really bring forth the changes that you are so aware of. But in your awareness, if you get caught up in the story, which means the transference happens once you feel some kind of way about what you're seeing and what you're experiencing or witnessing. Once you feel some kind of way that is not higher love, then now you are just mixing and offering the same ingredients. You're not really offering change. You're not offering that missing spice. So think about this, whether it's at your job, or whether or not it's in your home, or there's a family dynamic between um, a certain number of people in your family, or your relationships or your friendships. And think about this as a powerful tool of manifestation. And this is the word they just wrote in front of me. Think about this as a very powerful tool of manifestation. A tool that brings about radical change. And I know that word feels very uncomfortable, because it's one of the reasons why we don't defer to this higher form of light, that we don't look for that new spice. And if you're like me, I don't know what any of the spices, you know, taste like, especially the ones outside of the range of my basic knowing, the ones that I was given or seen used, in my own culture or family, right? So, especially like, since I've been living up north, it's just an example, and been exposed to other cultures and their foods, I enjoy the taste, but I don't know what the spices are. And so I've gone to the store to buy spices that I don't really like. I'm looking at them, I read the label, and I'm thinking, okay, maybe it's interesting. I may get them home and find them to not be what I'm looking for. Um, and the people who are blessed to know what those spices are, and or can taste them through smell or whatever, and be able to apply them appropriately, it's a gift, obviously. And it's the same kind of thing, we have to know how to tune into a situation first, to not try to go in and fix things, but to figure out what is really needed. What is missing, but what is also needed, because what might be missing might be the right thing, but the timing may not be right because they're not at a place where they're ready for that particular ingredient yet. If you put it in there, even though it might taste good to you, to them, it might not taste good at all. They may have a reaction to it, a strong reaction that might just stir up the negativity even further. So there's a sense that we're moving towards a radical change on our planet and within our universe. And many of us are not ready for it. Not because we are not, our hearts are not ready, our souls are not ready, but our minds and that sort of, that tape that we keep running, that tape of beliefs, which they wrote earlier, those beliefs aren't ready to open, to come in agreement with the heart. And so one of the ways to break that, the right rejection of change is that you're desiring and wanting to come through, is by being present with energy, with your energy, with the energy of the light, guardians of light around you, and being non-judgmental about the energy of those that you are witnessing in their classroom, their earth school classrooms. And being sensitive about the energy and what they're ready for in the moment. And less about how you can fix it and more about how can you raise your frequency. This might seem like you're bypassing the circumstances, but you can't keep going through things. Do you walk down every hall you see? Do you walk down every alley that you see, regardless if your feelings are uncomfortable or something's telling you that's not the way for you to go? Do you just go anyway, just because it's there and it's in your vicinity? No, you listen to that energy that's telling you that path, don't go that way. But when it comes to people, we always think that we know. And I just say it that way in a quick way. We know how to help them. We know how to fix them. We think we're supposed to. And this way of raising your frequency is the way to do all of that without interfering before they are ready. Because when you raise your frequency, your light becomes like a satellite. And what will happen is that they will come to you, they will be drawn to you. And as they're drawn to you, they will see you, and they will see the effects of the way that your light interacts and orchestrates your life. And they will either follow or be ready to absorb what they need, because your light is emanating and it's radiating out these keys and codes into the collective consciousness. And so they will pick them up. You don't have to worry about it. But if they approach you, there is something in it for you both together, in order that both of you can grow in the raising of your frequency, and and help each other enhance and accelerate your particular lessons, life lessons, on the ascension path, where the healing is assured, the clarity and the peace and the understanding is also assured. All right, let's take a look at the archangel that we're working with for this month. And it's Archangel Mallory. And it says, remember who you are. Take action when you are ready. And that's interesting, that phrase there. Take action when you are ready. So I'm just going to look this archangel up because I don't encounter her very often, personally myself. And so Archangel Mallory is the complement of Archangel Christiel. And Archangel Christiel is the archangel that works with your causal chakra and also works with unicorns in the Stargate of Lyra. So he works with that pure white Christ light. So it's interesting that I was led to call that in today. And their retreats, she brings in light from the Pleiades, and their retreats are over Bethlehem and Jerusalem. Okay? So when you see this really deep burgundy, this is the color of ancient wisdom. And then you see the deep gold. So it's when it's gold transformed into deep burgundy. So let's just tune in for a moment to Archangel Mallory's energy. And she appears before you with her wings enfolded. And she invites you right now. She enfolds her wings around you. And she wants to bring you to the heart of God. So just feel yourself being surrounded by her energy and feeling lighter and lighter as she just carries you up to the heart of God instantly. And she's showing me an egg. But it's almost like an egg, like when you buy the Easter time, when you can, those plastic ones, you can open them. And so this gives me a sense of a spiritual rebirth, an opportunity to blossom into your true self. And see yourself now in a pure white center with hints of pink of a pink, light pink aura. And just feel your heart expand and the energy surrounding you is moving into a higher frequency. And you feel even closer to God, and you sense a profound healing of your energy and your soul. And Archangel Mallory just keeps showing me, it's like she's just gathering multitudes of people, but they're like children. And she writes the word joy. She's bringing you into a frequency of joy and gathering you up like children. It's this feeling of an understanding of innocence. She's reminding you that at your pure, the heart of your pure, true self, you are all innocence. And as pure innocence, you are pure joy. And she says, remember who you are. She wants you to remember that your soul is still without blemish, is still pure, and is still filled with joy. She's given me a sense that the foundation beneath love in the creation of each of our divine sparks of our soul was the foundation of joy. And that joy is so powerful and so strong that there is nothing that can interfere with it. There is no other energy of negativity or even evil that is powerful enough to destroy the bond and the light of joy. And it is this joy that makes love so incredibly powerful. It is like love, joy is like the sun, and the sun is radiating love. And therefore, love will always be more powerful, more good than any false illusion or facade that seems to promise good and promises, love, but it's just all conditional. So Archangel Mallory is here to help you to raise your frequency. And if you call upon her, she will enfold you in her wings. And she will lighten your energy along with your burdens so that you become light and feel light again, which is joy. And then she can empower you to be your authentic self, to be your divine purity of joy once again. And from there, the strength of joy radiates the love, this unconditional love, the power of unconditional love to draw towards you all of the desires that are right for you and that you are ready for, despite your mind's, your ego mind's beliefs system. Okay, let's take a look at the cards. And they were laid down from left to right. So this week brings us into a preparation for the outer experience and how we interpret it and interact with it. And here we have the Nine of Pentacles. And isn't it interesting because the way this cloak around her looks like wings, doesn't it? Just in the similar way that I saw Archangel Mallory enfolding you. And all this blossoms that are beneath here, around, above and below. And of course, the sun is there. And she's holding one of the pentacles where the sun is, she's holding one in her hand. And this gives us a sense of that something, you are able to bring something down. The abundance, joy it radiates. Joy is like sort of the foundation of abundance, of love, of all things, right? As this is sort of the sense that Archangel Mallory gave us, is this is how our hearts were forged in the flame of God or source. And so by raising your frequency, you access this joy, because nothing, as you raise your frequency, you raise your frequency to that level of joy. And the brilliance of that light is like the sun, like a fire that purifies all things, transmutes it, transfigures them back into itself. And now you have the opportunity to manifest pure abundance, pure light, pure joy, pure clarity, understanding, patience, and a thirst and eagerness for change. And one of the things that this card really represents for me is this independence, sort of self-reliance and self-confidence. This sense of you draw to you what you need because you have a firm belief that the abundance of your life is crafted and sustained by the purity of joy that is the foundation of your heart, and by always aligning with it, they write, things naturally come to you. So we're moving away from a paradigm where we believe that we have to struggle to get that. And by seeing everyone else struggling, it leaves you to be stuck in a struggle, in a belief that you're in a struggle. And this kind of energy is the reason for wacky manifestations that are delayed, that seem hazardous, that seems like, that feeling like, I can't believe this is happening to me. You can't believe that you're having abundance because your belief system denies this truth, denies the light within you that can effectively impact the kind of truth you experience in your reality. Let's take a look at the card for the middle of the week. And look at this, another 9. So the 9 of Cups This is usually the wishes fulfilled card, right? So here we see, I'm trying to look at this. Let me pull that up because at first it looks like it's something over his, I can't see it even. Ah, it's a pipe. So I couldn't figure out um, what that was, but I think it's a pipe he's smoking. And so he's being served by this little bartender who looks like a child, which is interesting, or youth. And so, and this blossom here around him, this sort of like peacock figure on his back. These are the things that are just drawing my attention. And feathers here, almost like this looks like a bird as well. Okay, so what is all of this sort of giving me the feels about? Because the Nine of Cups is about feelings, right? And in this card, although you see this sort of servitude, but I think the real focus is on the young man who feels like he's of use in some way, right? And that he's bringing joy. He's changing his perspective about the reality he's in at the present moment. Is this where he really wants to be long term? Well, the card doesn't suggest that, the image doesn't suggest that he's thinking about anything else except where he is. But it doesn't mean that he doesn't have his sights on something better. And he's looking at this person who seems to have all of these symbols around him, and he's in this opulent setting, and he's the one that can afford to do those things, right? And so he may be looking at this gentleman as someone who is inspiring him. He may not be that person, but he is interacting with him, and he's in his world. And that's an opportunity for appreciation and gratitude, because instead of the mind saying, I don't have these things, and you know I'm sitting up here serving him, it should be me, right? Regrets, disappointment, all of that's negative. And when instead his appearance, his facial expression is giving us a sense of that he's just taking it all in. He's happy. He's sort of an innocent, right? And we need to go back to our innocence and not let ourselves to get so easily. Um, there was one word that obviously was going to come in my mind, and I tried to choose another one. Now I can't remember either one, but to not allow ourselves to be so disgruntled, um, and enforce unhappiness on ourselves. In every moment, we have a purpose. And if we fulfill it with joy, then we accelerate through that lesson, and it takes us readily on to the next experience. So I feel like this young man is, whether he knows it or not, he's ready for the next experience, as these nines sort of give us a sense of fulfillment. And on a material and an emotional level, these are two great components to have in order to, you know, be this person who is this sort of independent wealth. So he's looking back at this, as he's looking towards this, he is also becoming it, because it's how he's looking at things. And that might come through an inspiration of ideas, or just a sort of mind-blowing inspiration that just sort of opens up that next facet of his life change, and the changes, the steps that he needs to take in order to move into that sort of existence. And so, are you ready for it? There might be a lot of things that you're surrounded by right now that you're just spending a lot of time complaining about. And they are the very things preparing you for that next big opening that you sense or been waiting for. And maybe you've been specifically waiting for something that's just not quite what it is that the universe has in mind for you, that is in alignment with your true joy. Isn't it funny that your joy lies in the thing that opposes you the most? And if you can be like this youth and tap into your innocence, it's not like you might say, well, I'm not going to let people take advantage of me. No, it's not about that. It's about seeing there's a purpose, there's a passion. You're passionate, but right now you're sort of frustrated and angry. The other side of that coin, and like the experience that where you might be frustrated is seems like the thing you want to get away from, but it's really the other side of the coin of your joy, because in it is where you're complaining, where you're frustrated, there's your passion and your purpose. Look at look at it in a way that it can inspire you, or look at it to see how it's inspiring you to really get ready. And if you're angry, frustrated, that means you're restless. You're in a state of restless, which means you're in a state of change. You're not ready. You're not ready to be complacent or stagnate. So let it do the work for you. Let it change your heart. Let it open your mind to what possibilities are available for you and to you right now. Because here's the thing, if you feel stuck, these cards are saying you've fulfilled your lesson, you've completed it. You're just remaining there and by complaining because you don't want to turn in the direction of the opportunity, because you don't believe that you are ready or deserving. And you might say, well, oh, I know I got great stuff saying. Look, I'm just relaying the message here. Sometimes confidence is not a sign that you are ready. You know, the ego is sort of like the phrase of my old Baptist upbringing, the devil can quote scriptures kind of thing. So your ego can mimic, like, confidence. It can mimic love. It can mimic all great qualities. And you and I might seemingly, be spiritually astute. And yet, we might sometimes be mimicking those things, not really ready for the real thing. And the real thing is always just being your pure, true self and being open to that. Okay, so now we have the Four of Cups. And so this gives me a sense that it's just something that we're avoiding. That's what it's all boiling down to. Isn't it interesting? We've had the Four of Pentacles repeat a lot since I've been using this deck. And now we have the Four Cups. So this just clearly says, whether you or I want to hear it, there's just something we're not open to. And I'm going to give you the strong clue that it's in the complaining. Whatever you're complaining, whatever you're frustrated about, whatever you're angry about, all of these are the opposites of joy. So therefore, your joy is the other side of the coin. So your joy is in the midst of this situation. You just have to flip it from complaining to being frustrated to joy, to acceptance, because that's sort of the riches of the coin. Acceptance, and then by the time you turn it, gratitude, and then you have your joy. So focus on appreciating. Don't say, like, this is a card to me is like, I don't care. Start caring, but through appreciating. Okay, I want to say more about that because sometimes people say, I don't care. And you say, start caring. And then what they do when they start caring is that they get too involved, not in a balanced way. That's why we say, raise your frequency first. Okay, and call upon Archangel Mallory to help you with that. Raise your frequency first. All right. So we have the Knight of Swords. And a part of me thinks when I first saw this, don't don't be too quick to judge and and just rush in without being really checking in with your inner light, right? But at the same time, this is a message to stop stop doubting and start believing in yourself, right? Um, just don't delay any further. And don't overthink situations. Meaning don't let your ego draw you into that drama. Don't overthink it. Don't make it a big deal. Don't make other people's actions that it has something to do with you. Dismiss that. Even if it's true, dismiss that because deep down it doesn't. In truth, it doesn't. On our ego level, from ego to ego, it might. Most of the times, it's about the self, they write. The self is creating something, they're fixated on something, and then it just projects it because it doesn't want to face. It's avoiding. And if you're in this state, or you're the one also, caught up like this and projecting to others, because you're avoiding. If somebody else is doing it, it's because they're avoiding. And if you want to focus on that and you want to make something out of it, you are avoiding, they write, your goals, your possible goals, they emphasize. You're avoiding possible goals. This month is about possibilities. The possibilities for change are real this month. They are real. They are, in fact, so real that you're going to feel as though you're being forced. This is a month, I saw the word progress, for you to see strides, to see real progress in your life. The angels are really assisting you with this. Call upon Archangel Michael, who I just saw, to give you the confidence in those possibilities. Really dream about what you want and believe it's possible. So I send you lots of love and angel blessings and wish you a beautiful, beautiful week. God bless.